Today we are going to make pizza dough for the best pizza crust you have ever eaten. Into my bowl, I have put in 153 grams of double O flour, which is an Italian blend flour. You can find the Italian blend or the Italian flour or double O at most specialty stores. So you're going to use that Italian blend and then the same amount of all-purpose flour. I have also put into this bowl fine sea salt, and I like to use Vital Gluten because I think it helps with the rising process, and that is a tablespoon. We're going to mix this together so that it's nice and blended. This is called a dough fork. I really like it because it tends to move things around and it doesn't get stuff stuck on it. Okay, once you feel like you've got your dry ingredients mixed together, we're going to sort of create a little bit of a well in the center here, and we're going to pour in our liquid ingredients. You're going to put this in the center, and then you're going to mix this up. As you can see, the dough fork does a really spectacular job of getting everything blended together. Once the fork has done everything it can, I usually spray my hands with Pam so they're nice and oiled and the dough won't stick to my hands. And then you get in here and you mix it with your hands. And it's important that you try and get all of the flour mixed in. And once you get this blended, you're going to turn it out onto a floured surface, which I have created here. And you're going to knead it for 3 minutes, incorporating what leftover pieces of the dough you need to get it into a cohesive dough. Your dough should have a uniform feel and color. It should be moist but not wet so that it's not sticking to your surface. Once you feel like you've got it pretty well mixed together, you're going to flour up your surface real nicely. Should take about 3 minutes, and you're going to leave it for 15 minutes just as it is on the very floured surface. Okay, so our dough has rested for 15 minutes, and now we're going to knead it again. The reason why you're doing this is that it helps the gluten in the bread, or in the dough, to form better connections, and it'll give it some chewiness and a little more flavor. So now that we have kneaded the dough again for 3 minutes, we are going to form it into a nice ball. Now at this point you have 2 options. If you are going to make 2 pizzas, it's important that you cut the dough at this point and form each section into a ball. If you're only going to make 1 rectangle or square pizza, then you leave it whole. So we're going to put our dough back into the mixing bowl that has been pretty heavily floured. I like to put a wet, slightly damp cloth over this. It keeps the dough nice and moist. So I place that over that. I'm going to cover this, and I'm going to put it on top of my refrigerator because that's the warmest place in my kitchen. And I'm going to let it sit there for 3 to 4 hours. I do have a piece of parchment paper, and we're going to make a rectangle pizza. So you're just going to start stretching the dough with your hands. You can take the parchment paper out of the pan if that's easier for you, but you're just going to keep stretching the dough to fit the size pan you want. Okay, we've got our dough rolled out, and now we're going to add our sauce. Believe it or not, 7 minutes on your timer. Okay, our pizza timer has gone off. I always check the bottom to make sure it's good, and it is. So I am going to take my board and slide it, hopefully, right under the pizza. Remove our parchment paper. Let it sit for a second or two, and then cut and serve.